Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another video, and this is going to be a little bit different. Instead of being inside of Cinema 4D or Octane or After Effects or Premiere Pro or Final Cut, we're going to be actually inside of a whole nother program called World Creator. World Creator is a super awesome program. I just got it. It's for generating, you guessed it, worlds. But really there's a lot more you can do inside of it. It's actually its own render engine and everything. But today we're going to be looking at one aspect, and that's for exporting for Cinema 4D and Octane. Okay, so like I said, World Creator is a super cool program, but the coolest thing is everything is in real time. So let's just say we want to change this parameter right here. The whole world generates as you switch it. And we're also not just limited to these small sizes. We can scale all the way up to 16K maps, which we'll just be working in 8K for today's tutorial, but I did export the one in the thumbnail for 16K, so just to let you know that. Also, if you are messing around with this too much, like if you get this, you're gonna have trouble rendering that, I figured out, so usually just stay at 1 meter if you're at 8K. Okay, so the alien landscape. We'll have the general overview is kind of just, you can use your mouse to move around, and that's pretty much it. There's some short keys on the keyboard, but I don't know them yet. Anyways, let's start. So the first thing we're gonna go over here to filter and add layer, new layer, and then click add. Perfect. So we're actually gonna go to alien. This tutorial is made for me already, basically. So you can see right here, just clicking on alien, we get these really interesting, cool shapes and stuff, but for me they're quite not really that realistic. So what we're going to do is crank up the general strength just a bit, and then we're going to go over and we're going to click add and close, and you can see right there it's applying. And what's so great about this is we're able to add more adjustments and everything's real time, so which that was a pretty cool look. But we're going to add, let's see, go to add, and this is Cratered Cliffs. This is the same landscape again. You can see we're getting some really cool results right here, which this in itself would be pretty awesome. So we're gonna go over to basic erosion and then click on erosion deep, and you can see that it's really changed our landscape a lot. We're gonna want to turn down that general strength some and mess around with these level settings. I usually do something about this, and then I crank up the small ones and just pull those up a little bit, and you can see right here, we zoom in, get a closer look, we can start seeing what we're affecting, and then just slowly bring up. It's a little too much, so these bigger ones are taking up a little too much. You can see them generating right there. Perfect. Okay, so right here we're getting some cool looks, but we really don't want them on the top as much. So we're going to go over to slope strength, and we can just move that around some, so that way they start only forming on the slopes, and that's a pretty good look right there. Perfect. Okay, so now that you have your erosion, you have everything, just click add and close, and it's time to start texturing. So you want to go over to this little paintbrush, click textures, add layer, right there, add. So you'll probably have a download assets if you don't already have the World Creator textures, but I do, so it's fine. If you don't have them, just click download, it's perfect. It just takes a couple of minutes to download, it's not too bad, and it comes with some nice textures. So I'm going to stick with this Desert 2 texture mostly, and we're just going to click add and close. Perfect. Okay, so there's a great texture on our desert, but it's uniformly applied, and if you zoom in some, you see it doesn't look that realistic. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you have eliminate tiling enabled. It kind of just mushes everything together and makes it look more realistic. And then you want to go over to texture, because we're going to be using this in Octane for such a big scene. You're going to just scale it down some, small as you can get it, so you really can't notice it's just a color at a certain point. So now that we got the texture done, let's just go ahead and change the shade a bit. So just click that white bar, and we're gonna go for an orangey color. bit lighter. Perfect. Okay, so this is our base texture. We're gonna go ahead and let's duplicate this texture, click on it, and click cavity right here and click convex. And then we'll change the color. And you can see, for the sake of this part, we'll just make it a crazier color. Let's just do maybe not so crazy. This looks pretty good. Okay, so you can click use height gradient and all that, but we're just gonna kind of just mess with this right here with the convex. So you changing the steps kind of changes how far in and out it goes. Step size right there. So step size, we want it to be pretty complex, but not too much. Strength. Slide that around, you can kind of see the results you're getting. And we really just want it to be looking like a ridge line from up above. And it looks pretty good, but it's a little too pronounced, so something a little bit lighter. And that looks good right there. So we're just going to be stacking basically multiple textures, and we'll just duplicate this one again, zoom in a little bit, change the color slightly. This is maybe a little bit darker of a color, and just change the steps. You can kind of see now that we're filling everything in right here, so there's kind of nice little gradient change. And just punch, well, we already duplicated it, so we'll just duplicate it again. And you're going to want to do this multiple times. The more duplications and the more details you start getting, we can change the next one to concave. Let's just change it to, let's do a blue color. Alright, perfect. So now we know where we're filling in the middle. This is a cool texture as is. So I'm doing the blue just to kind of see what we're doing, and then I'm going to change the color after. Let's go ahead and switch the step size. Something like that. Okay, that does not look too bad, and let's just go back into another orange that we have. Perfect. It's all about finding the kind of the right balance. Maybe that's a little too much. And we're going to change the strength down a little bit. So now we're getting really a lot of varied texture and variation right here. And I'm looking at it and I'm liking it a lot, but we can maybe mess with some of the base settings so we can kind of design and sculpt our own landscape out of it. So if you go over here and just go to base, and then you can make the X and Y seamless, which you're going to do if you're tiling, and just kind of, you can move the border blend around and you'll see it changes the border slightly. It's hard for my computer to encode the video and and render this landscape because this is a GPU. So right here we can do custom base shape and then edit shape, and we get all of these crazy dots. And by pulling these up or down, it changes what the landscape is going to look like. I'm going to drop down to a 2K image just for the sake of the tutorial, and kind of just show you all a little bit faster how it's working. So you can see you can make holes, pull it down, or just push it up. And it's really just about setting up your own world and creating your own landscape. So let's say there's some kind of cavity here. And if you notice, watch this, when I pull this down, this erosion regenerates itself, which is pretty cool. And this texture is also retexturing itself. So we're getting a very interactive and very responsive, but also procedural landscape generation, which is really awesome. And this program is definitely, for anything like that, if you're doing any kind of world creation, I highly recommend you check it out. It's called World Creator 2. It's amazing, and you can just see this detail that we're getting out of it. Usually though, I don't do sculpting this crazy. I actually think that the algorithms or the equations that they're using to generate the landscapes are pretty realistic as they are. So we don't want to change up things too much. But at the same time, we kind of do want to craft a little bit. So that looks pretty cool right there. I'm just trying to show you all the basics of everything. Let's go to selection tool. You can change your selection circle. If you want to sculpt more, you can start getting some crazy stuff like this, which is not necessarily what we want. And let's say you do something like this. You mess everything up bad. Just unclick custom base shape and you're back to normal. And if you want to just reset it, you can just click this right here and click yes. And we're back here. And then we can go to custom base shape and start editing the shape again and resculpting it. Just to show y'all a little bit, this is basically in the tutorial. You would go right here to export it, and you would do terrain right here, surface, terrain height map, export, and then you would want to do normal map, and then you do textured, and I'd say do 32-bit, and then if you can do 16K. I'm not really sure if Octane's taking advantage of that right now because the displacement's going to be 8K, but this is our finished product. You can stop wherever you want or create your more things from it. If you don't have World Creator, just go check it out. It's pretty awesome. I'm not saying you have to buy it because you can get height maps and stuff like this for free. Or you can buy paid ones. I'll have a link below, $5 for this height map that I made in the thumbnail. And if you don't want to pay that, it'll be free the first week. So if you're subscribed, you already got it. So that's pretty much it. Just wanted to show you our World Creator. I wanted to show you how to make an alien planet for some upcoming projects that we're going to be doing, which is super exciting. So guys, thank you for watching and have a great day.